The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of March 24, 2025. It shows Traci Abbott having a revelation about Alan Laurent. Phyllis Summers asks for Billy Abbott's help. Plus, it turns out Victor Newman already has history with the mysterious Aristotle Dumas. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Traci Abbott's revelation. During the week of March 24, fans can expect Traci to have a revelation about her fiancé. Even though Traci loves Alan and wants to marry him, she realizes something is very wrong. In a panicked and frantic voice, Traci tries to explain this to Jack Abbott. While Jack could say it's just wedding jitters, Traci isn't one to blow things out of proportion. She's usually the calm and logical one. Jack Abbott's wisdom. In the preview clip, Traci tells her brother that she's not even sure Alan is who he says he is. Jack mentioned how spontaneous and full of surprises Alan is lately. However, that might be a red flag that gets him busted. Aristotle Dumas passed. Over with Michael Baldwin, he has another discussion with Victor Newman, something that the patriarch says catches the former DA attention. Michael notes that it seems like Victor has history with Dumas. That is when Victor says that he does, but doesn't go any further than that. At least, not in the preview clip. I'm starting to become even more convinced that Dumas is actually Tucker McCall. Of course, he wouldn't want Genoa City to see him coming. Phyllis Summers and Billy Abbott scheme. Next week, fans can also expect Phyllis to sob outside. Billy seems uncomfortable and doesn't really know what to do. Phyllis goes on about how she can't let her kids see her that way. That is when Billy reluctantly asks what he can do to help. That is when the kidnapping survivor says she has an idea. When it comes to Phyllis, these are never good words for her to say. Chances are that Billy is going to get caught up in one big mess. Is Phyllis going to ask for Billy's help in tracking down the kidnapper? If so, that could be a dangerous confrontation, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what is coming up next. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Michelle Stafford posted a cryptic message stating, "That's a wrap," has fans wondering if Phyllis Summers may be leaving Genoa City. After what Phyllis and Sharon Newman have been through, no one could blame her for taking a long-deserved vacation. Alan Laurent has kept Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summer locked up. Phyllis and Sharon have no idea who was holding them. However, Nick Newman knocked down the door to the room the ladies were being held in and busted them out. Of course, Billy Abbott and Chance Chancellor helped. Now the ordeal is finally over. It was revealed to the audience that Alan was behind it. However, fans are wondering if Alan is really Martin Laurent instead. Could Martin still be alive and behind the kidnapping instead? Has Martin taken over Alan's life again, and perhaps Alan died when they fell out the window and died in Paris? Is Phyllis Summers leaving? Michelle was referring to that particular storyline. Phyllis isn't going anywhere. Phyllis is obviously traumatized by this turn of events, but she isn't going to let this crazy person run her out of town. Phyllis is determined to find out who was behind this and why they did this to her and Sharon. What did they do to deserve this? Fans cannot deny that it was nice seeing Phyllis and Sharon working together for once instead of fighting. There was no arguing over Nick this time either. Sharon and Phyllis actually cared enough to save each other's life instead of trying to kill each other this time. How long will this truce between Sharon and Phyllis last? Fans certainly had their share of opinions on this. Here is what some fans shared about this storyline. Great scenes, but glad it's over and all is well. I feel so bad for Traci, she never gets a happy ending, but I'm happy she's going to finally have a good storyline as well. How fun to see the behind the scenes. Can't wait for Monday. And Alan is not Alan. Never was, correct? I have to say I was not thrilled with storyline, but having the bad guy be the doctor, now that was TV gold. I actually gasped, and I've been watching Y&R for over 30 years. It may be over for you, but it's just starting for Traci. Poor Traci, can't they give her a man please? But it is nice to see what you do behind the scenes. I love that more than anything. You are my favorite. I love you so much. Oh man, I love how this story turned out, with you and Sharon. Crazy. Never in a million years did I think anything could bring the two of you together. Story's not over. It could be a new beginning of something fresh and different and powerful. Were you worried that Phyllis was going to skip town? Do you want to see the ladies continue their newfound friendship? Where should the story go from here? Come here for all things Y&R. Check back often for the young and the restless news, spoilers, and updates. Diane and Jack meet Traci at the club and tell her she's glowing. Traci has waited long to be this happy and feels she deserves it. Diane admires her engagement ring and Jack asks about the official proposal. Traci says it was dashing. I am 100% sure I want to marry Alan Laurent. I've never met another man like him. She reveals that they want to marry in Paris and asks Jack to borrow the company jet to fly over there tonight. Jack appears taken aback. Traci notices the drop in enthusiasm. Jack asks, Paris? Diane wonders if it was her idea. Traci argues it's the most romantic city in the world. Jack and Diane think it seems rushed. Traci says they just want to go find the perfect venue. Alan's so eager. Jack finds this all very impulsive. It doesn't sit right with him. He offers to talk to Alan and asks, where is he anyway? They sit, and Traci says Alan's gone to take care of some things. He's getting messages on his phone about a security breach and thinks he's been hacked. Jack frowns. Traci thought he approved of Alan. Jack shrugs that maybe he's turning into a worrier. Traci tells him Alan has never pretended to be someone he's not. Jack would love to witness their union. He's concerned they'll run off and get married without them. Traci promises no eloping. They want all the Abbotts to attend their wedding. She asks Jack to walk her down the aisle. Jack tears up. It would be my honor. They recall that he gave her away at her wedding to Brad. Traci marvels that it seems like a lifetime ago. They miss John. Traci tells Jack she reminds her of him every day. It's the way he acts. He was so proud of you. Jack's sorry he rained on her parade. He knows she can take care of herself. Diane chides them not to start crying again as Kyle appears. He reports that Phyllis and Sharon are back home. Diane asks if Phyllis faked it. Kyle says they were both being held captive together. Jack's relieved they're okay. Kyle says they're psychically fine. Traci hopes they catch the monster responsible and soon. Kyle notices her ring and asks when the big day will be. Traci laughs that she's not sure, but it's going to be a short engagement. More? Eileen Davidson teases a return, but as who? Sharon wants Nick to come to London. At Crimson Lights, Sharon serves Nick a scone and tea. He thinks it's a bribe. She says it's a hint. He guesses she's wondering if he's given thought to accompanying her and Faith to London to see Noah. Sharon admits it. Nick says it's a tempting offer, but he has to say no. Sharon tells him they wouldn't have to leave right away. Nick admits it's never a good time to take time off from Newman. Sharon argues he could work remotely. Nick says it's not really about work. She needs time with her kids after all she's been through. She should take that time and convince Mariah to go along too. He asks her to say hello to the king for him. Sharon smiles. They go over how strong she is, but Nick still thinks she needs time to heal. I promise you I will keep an eye on things around here until you get back. Sharon needs him to come so he can keep an eye on her. Sharon tells Nick that he's known her most of her life. He may know her better than she knows herself. Nick nods. That's why she should listen to him and take time to heal. Sharon shrugs that it won't be the same without him there. It would mean so much to her for them all to spend time together. Nick asks her to be honest. Do you ever think about us? Sharon asks, you and me. He nods. Nick tells her she doesn't have to answer. More, why Alan kidnapped Sharon and Phyllis. Sharon asks Nick why he's thinking about this now. Nick knows this isn't coming out of left field. There are times when they're together that he gets the sense she wishes something would happen, like when they say goodbye. Sharon doesn't know what he's talking about. Nick thinks she does. I think there's something there. He wants her to be honest. Sharon nods. How I gotten lonely sometimes. Sure. Does she miss what they had? When it was good, of course. He's always there for her, so of course she's thought about trying again. It's not like I fantasize about it or anything. Sharon then asks, can you look me in the eye and tell me you've never thought about being with me again? Nick tells Sharon, of course I've thought about it. Of course I have. He even thought about leaning in, but then he remembers the history that's there. There's a lot of pain. He's hurt her badly. She says she's hurt him too. He wonders how she could forgive him for that and feels fortunate that they're friends. We're in a great place. I'd probably just mess things up again. Sharon shrugs. They might get it right this time. Nick likes where they're at and will always be there for her no matter what. That's never going to change. More, Cameron Grimes shares her shock. Sparks fly between Chelsea and Adam. At the old ranch, Adam orders an op-ed on Billy's new company being destined to crash and burn. He disconnects and turns to see Chelsea, who says, this is about payback. He says he's not looking for payback. She replies, well, you're going to get it. Adam says the call was just about work. She tells him he's off the clock, and suddenly he notices she's set up a romantic dinner. It's payback, like she said. Adam thought maybe he was in trouble, but he hasn't done anything wrong lately. He learns that she cooked something and teases that he set the bar pretty high the other night. Chelsea tells him it brought them closer. She wants to reciprocate. Sitting, Chelsea muses to Adam that it's never too late for another chance at romance. They speculate at the story of an older couple holding hands that Adam saw the other day. Maybe they figured out how to finally get it right. She hopes it doesn't take them that long. Adam isn't concerned as long as they get there. He wonders if she thinks they're moving too fast. Where are you with what's happening with us? Chelsea is comfortable with it. Adam is too. They're not a full-fledged couple again, but they're not lovesick teens either. Adam teases that she makes him feel like a kid again. They have to take it one day at a time. Chelsea agrees. They have to stay in the moment and create great memories together. She unveils the meal, which is quiche Lorraine. Adam tells her it's incredible. She won't share her recipe. Romance requires mystery. More, the real reason Sharon and Phyllis were kidnapped. After eating, Adam tells Chelsea that was one of the best meals he ever had. They discuss Connor being at the main house with Johnny. They'll be gaming all night. Struggling to talk to each other, Chelsea admits she's a little nervous. Adam tells her there's no pressure. She just wants to get it right this time. Adam agrees, but it's making them work too hard. We've already won at love. You usually don't get a do-over. Chelsea decides to bring out dessert. It's homemade cake. I thought I would try again, she laughs. Adam tastes it and tells her it's the best cake he's ever had. She muses. Sometimes if you try again, you do get it right. They banter, and she pretends to wipe frosting off his face. He puts some on her nose as they joke about liking things messy. Adam moves closer, and they talk about trusting their instincts. Maybe Baltimore wasn't a mistake. She doesn't need perfect, just real. They kiss. Soon, they're in the bedroom undressing. She tells him she's ready to make some happy memories, and he puts her on the bed, where they make love. After, they decide they'll cook breakfast together, but note they still have the rest of tonight. They start kissing again. Alan's story begins to tie in with Sharon and Phyllis. At the club, Kyle asks Traci why Alan thinks his phone was hacked. She tells Kyle, Jack, and Diane about the text messages that said, "Security breach at the clinic. Precautions enacted." She frowns. They seemed like alerts. It's Kyle's turn to frown. He shares, "Summer said Sharon and Phyllis were being held at a clinic." Traci asks, "Where is this clinic?" Kyle says it was somewhere outside of town and was abandoned. Traci reasons that if it was abandoned, there would be no security to breach. Jack asks if Kyle thinks it has some tie to the alerts on Alan's phone. Kyle doesn't see how. What would Alan have to do with a place that hasn't seen patients in years? Traci just thinks it's odd. Maybe the people who took Phyllis and Sharon are targeting Alan too. The Abbotts suggest she put it out of her mind and focus on her wedding. Diane asks if they've told Ashley yet. Traci says they'll tell her when they get to Paris. She's worried that she'll think they're rushing. Jack says he'll take care of Ashley. Traci should just savor the moment. More, the bizarre truth about Alan. At Crimson Lights, Nick urges Sharon to go to London. She needs this time with their kids. Sharon will go, but says they'll be disappointed he didn't come. "Are you sure there's nothing I could say that would change your mind?" Nick will give it some thoughts. Summer comes in and tells them she's worried about her mom. She tells Sharon, "I think your whole ordeal has really hit her hard." Summer says her mother is just off, acting erratic and losing her train of thought. She's usually so sharp. Sharon points out she was drugged and may need to see a doctor. Nick agrees to come with Summer to check on Phyllis. He tells Sharon that he'll think about what they were talking about and let her know what he comes up with. Sharon asks him to let her know if there's anything she can do for Phyllis. More, will Phyllis' breakdown bring her closer to Nick or Billy? At the club, Diane offers to help Traci with her wedding planning if she needs it. They joke about Jack being stressed about the home renovations. Traci gets a call from Alan and steps away. The other three talk about how wonderful it is to see her so happy. She returns and says her head is spinning again. Alan is at the airport. He's purchased the last ticket on the last commercial flight out to Paris tonight. Jack and the others are stunned at the news that he's going alone. Why not stick with the original plan and go together on the jet? Traci explains that he said he needs some time. He is preparing some kind of surprise for her. Jack says, "Well, this fellow is just full of surprises, isn't he?" Traci sighs and looks worried. Michelle Stafford shared a message to her the young and the restless co-stars that left fans a bit worried. Last week, Phyllis and Sharon were finally recused after being kidnapped by a mystery voice who relished playing games with them. Nick, Billy, and Chance arrived just in time to save Sharon and Phyllis from gas filling up the room. Days after the rescue, Michelle took to Instagram to give some mad props to her co-stars as the storyline comes to a close, or at least that part of it does. Michelle shared a video featuring behind-the-scenes moments from the rescue footage and a shot of her on-screen son, Michael Graziadei. So that's a wrap of that story. "These are my beautiful friends that I love so much and get to work with everyday YR," she captioned the video. The caption had Y and R fans fearing Michelle was leaving the hit CBS soap. Rest assured, that's not the case. Michelle was simply showing her love for her co-stars. The young and the restless fans gush over Michelle's IG post. Connor and Jason were quick to pop up in the comments section to show Michelle some love and agree with her words. Another fan gushed over having Michelle and Sharon working together, while a different one enjoyed the behind-the-scenes video. One fan was excited that Alan was the kidnapper. It's not the most popular opinion, that's for sure. More comments revealed excitement over what's to come, especially with Alan. However, some are unhappy that heartache seems to be heading Traci's way. Joshua got a shout-out for looking good at any age, and one fan wondered if Sharon and Phyllis would remain friends following this ordeal. What's next for Sharon and Phyllis on Y and R? The kidnapping may be over, but but Alan let the two women be rescued awfully quickly. It's a safe bet that Alan has something else up his sleeve, but it could be that his attention has turned back to Traci now that they are engaged. What we do know is a wedding is on the horizon, likely in May sweeps, which is when the rest of Geno City should learn Alan was behind Phyllis and Sharon's kidnapping. The rumor mill is buzzing that Alan is really his evil twin, Martin, and honestly, we agree. If that's the case, May sweeps should expose that secret too. Until then, Sharon and Phyllis have to deal with what happened to them while their captor remains on the loose. Y and R fans can expect more twists and turns as this story is taken to a new level. Where is Abby on the young and the restless? That's a question on Y and R fans' minds as Abby has been off-screen for weeks. In fact, Abby hasn't been mentioned in a long time despite all the recent Newman family drama. We last saw Abby when Ian cornered Tessa at Society, and Abby went off on the villain. Even her husband, Devon, has gotten screen time as the saga involving Nate and his new brother Damien plays out. However, Abby has simply from the canvas, and her absence seems to be brushed under the rug. Where is Abby on Young and the Restless? The simple answer to where is Abby is that Melissa Ordway was taken off contract last year. Melissa is now on recurring status, which means less of Abby and the actress. It doesn't mean that Y and R fans won't see Abby anymore or that Melissa has exited the show. In fact, Melissa admitted last fall that her status change on the CBS soap was not her idea. The good news for Abby fans is that she will return to the canvas for episodes soon. Melissa shared an Instagram post revealing she was back filming the show. Abby's back in Genoa City for a couple episodes with her Newman and Winters families A Young and Restless, was the caption on her post. Based on Melissa's Instagram photos, Abby will share scenes with Devon, Victor, and Michael. As for when Abby will be back in the mix, it will be soon. The Young and the Restless films 4 to 6 weeks in advance. Melissa shared the post at the end of February, so Abby should be popping up in Genoa City at the end of March or the beginning of April. What has Melissa been up to since her Y and R status change? Melissa has been enjoying life with her husband, Justin Gaston, and their 2 daughters. The family currently lives in Nashville, where they are living their best lives. No, Melissa hasn't left acting behind. She's still doing her thing. Most recently, she revealed that she landed a part in the TV show Blue Ridge. One thing we know for sure is that Melissa is always happy to go back to the CBS show and her Y and R family. In a surprising twist on The Young and the Restless, Billy Abbott finds himself drawn back to Phyllis Summers, reigniting emotions he thought were long buried. After Phyllis's near-death experience, Billy is forced to confront his true feelings. Realizing the depth of his regret, Billy seeks her forgiveness, hoping to rebuild the connection they once shared. Despite their tumultuous past, Phyllis remains an undeniable presence in his life, and Billy can no longer ignore the pull toward her. When Phyllis returns, Billy makes a heartfelt confession. With his voice full of remorse, he admits he was wrong to push her away and promises not to make the same mistake again. Phyllis, although still hurt, cannot deny the sincerity in Billy's words. Her guarded heart softens as Billy expresses his need for her, both personally and professionally. Despite her initial hesitation, Phyllis agrees to work with him, sensing that this opportunity could be a fresh start. Their reunion is filled with raw emotion as Phyllis acknowledges that Billy's actions saved her life. As they hold each other, old wounds begin to heal, but the shadow of their past mistakes still lingers. Will their renewed partnership lead to a lasting reconciliation, or will history repeat itself? Meanwhile, this rekindled bond comes at a cost. Sally Spectra, who has grown close to Billy, feels betrayed by his sudden shift of affection. Sally's feelings for Billy run deep, and his reconnection with Phyllis leaves her heartbroken and questioning her place in his life. As Billy and Phyllis navigate their complicated relationship, Sally struggles to process the pain of being left behind. With tensions rising and emotions running high, Billy's decision to revisit his past with Phyllis threatens to unravel the fragile balance in all their lives. Will Phyllis and Billy find lasting happiness, or will their unresolved issues lead to further heartbreak? Soap opera fans are in shock as rumors swirl that Melody Thomas Scott, the iconic actress behind Nikki Newman, may be saying her final goodbye to the young and the restless. After more than 4 decades in Genoa City, could this really be the end of an era? As speculation runs wild, let's dive into what we know about Melody's potential exit and what it means for the show. A legacy like no other. Since 1979, Melody Thomas Scott has captivated audiences as Nikki Newman, transforming from a troubled young woman into one of the most powerful and beloved figures in Y&R history. From her fiery romance with Victor Newman to countless dramatic twists, Nikki's journey has been filled with love, loss, and unforgettable moments. But now, whispers of her departure have left fans reeling. Could Genoa City truly go on without its reigning queen? Clues pointing to Nikki's exit. While there has been no official confirmation from CBS or the actress herself, several hints suggest that Melody Thomas Scott may be preparing for a shocking farewell. Cryptic social media posts. Recently, Scott posted a heartfelt message thanking fans for their support, leading many to believe she could be preparing to step away. On-screen drama escalates. Nikki has been battling personal demons, struggling with addiction, and facing major conflicts within the Newman family. Could this be leading to an emotional send-off? Contract speculation. Soap stars often renegotiate contracts behind the scenes, and some believe that Scott may be ready to move on after more than 40 years in the role. How will Nikki leave Genoa City? If this truly is the end for Nikki Newman, how will Y&R handle her exit? Here are some possibilities that have fans on edge. A tragic downfall. Nikki has been struggling with her sobriety and facing intense pressures from her powerful family. Could she spiral out of control in a heartbreaking twist? A shocking death. In the soap world, nothing delivers impact like an unexpected death. Would Y&R dare to write off Nikki in such a dramatic fashion? A fresh start. Perhaps Nikki will decide to leave town to find peace, exiting on her own terms and leaving the door open for a possible return. Victor Newman's heartbreak. What happens next? One of the biggest questions surrounding Nikki's possible exit is how it will affect Victor Newman. Their love story has been the backbone of Y&R for decades. Could Victor survive without his true love? Would Eric Breeden's character also consider leaving, or would this push him into a shocking new chapter of his own? Is this really the end? While it's hard to imagine the young and the restless without Melody Thomas Scott, soap operas are known for their surprises. Could this be a temporary break rather than a permanent exit? Fans are holding on to hope that even if Nikki steps away, she may one day return for more drama, romance, and unforgettable moments. For now, all eyes are on Y&R as we brace for what could be one of the most emotional exits in soap opera history. Will Nikki Newman truly say goodbye, or is there another twist waiting around the corner? In The Young and the Restless, Traci's life is thrown into turmoil when a shocking discovery puts her in grave danger. It all begins on a rainy evening when curiosity leads Traci to Alan's phone, a device hiding secrets that could unravel everything. As she scrolls through the phone, disturbing images reveal a truth far more sinister than she expected. The evidence exposes Alan's hidden identity. He is, in fact, Martin's younger brother, a revelation long buried under layers of deception. Realizing the magnitude of what she has uncovered, Traci knows she can no longer stay silent. The truth must come out, even if it means risking everything. However, her mission to expose Alan's lies takes a dark turn when Damien, Alan's ruthless enforcer, learns what she knows. Instead of siding with her against the forces controlling Genoa, Damien's loyalty to his mysterious employer compels him to act. Cold and unyielding, Damien sees Traci as a threat that must be eliminated. In a chilling confrontation, Damien's true nature emerges. Without hesitation, he grabs Traci by the throat, determined to silence her before she can reveal Alan's secrets. The tension escalates as Traci fights for her life, her pleas falling on deaf ears. Just as it seems Damien will carry out his deadly mission, Martin arrives, his heart torn between loyalty to his family and his love for Traci. His emotional plea momentarily halts the violence, but the danger is far from over. When Alan himself intervenes, the violence is temporarily stopped. His commanding presence forces Damien to release Traci, but his words make one thing clear: some secrets are too dangerous to be revealed. As the dust settles, the consequences of that night ripple through Genoa, threatening to destroy the lives of everyone involved.